fellas. We are so back! Hello, and welcome back to Maya's Neighborhood, hosted by your friend, hopefully, and neighbor, me, Maya. It is now 2026! Where does the time go? Starting to fly. That's crazy. Guys, I am actually very excited for this year. 2025 was the last time I saw you, just a week before Christmas. And wow, what a year it's been. I wasn't able to film for about 2 to 3 weeks because the holidays, and I got the flu. Merry Christmas time from Santa. I really hope I don't have lip gloss in my teeth. That would be crazy. I put on this lip gloss, I think for the first time, because when I put it on and looked at myself in the mirror, I realized that it was really quite brown. It is very brown. And also, I'm bespectacled today, if you cannot tell. For audio listeners, yes, I have my glasses on. We are bare bones Maya right now. No nails. Ah! Glasses on. You're getting like base package Maya. I am bespectacled because work has started up again. When someone brings up my job, I feel like SpongeBob in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie when he was hungover. He just woke up at the Goofy Goober and he realizes that he is late for work. And he mentions Mr. Krabs and then he goes, Mr. Krabs. I love my job. I'm very grateful to be employed. But, wow. Having started this podcast and having gone through the kind of metamorphosis that I've gone through over the past couple months, you really start to look at corporate jobs in a different light. And, yeah, I'm so grateful to have you guys. I'm so grateful to have the neighborhood and love y'all. How are your holidays? Good. I'm glad to hear it. If they were bad, I'm really sorry. But at least we have each other now in the brand new year. I have such an exciting lineup, I feel. I'm not going to spoil anything. Mostly because some of the episodes have not even been shot yet. Nonetheless, I'm very excited. The flu. God, I feel like the flu gave me, like, brain frog. Bitch, I need leapfrog right now. Anyways, I feel like the flu gave me brain fog for quite a minute there because, whoa, 1 minute I was stirring and purring with ideas, and then the next, it felt like I entered the back rooms of my brain, and I was fucked up, just laying here brooding for like days, and I hate that. You know, it was really nice the holidays to reset because I feel like I've been go with my job, the neighborhood, and just, you know, trying to maintain a personal life too, shit. And, it was kind of nice. I feel like it was the universe kind of being like, bitch, slow down! And so, she gave me phlegm and brain fog. Yeah, I feel like I really needed that, reset, but I was brooding. I was brooding so bad when I was sick, and I hate being in that state. That is so crazy. Like, if Batman existed in real life, I think I would hate him. I think most people would probably think that he is so annoying. If Gotham had grass, bro, I think I think all of them would be okay. Anyways, guys, I think that this is going to be a very, very interesting year. And I hope, despite the world being what it is, and you know what? I feel like shit always happens in January. Like the craziest things always happen in January, like within the first like 3 weeks, and it's like, whoa. And then we're like dealing with the repercussions of that for the entire year. Like every year really does feel like a season. Like why January 6th, the year had just started. We were 6 days into what was that? 2023, 2024? What was that about? Just obviously we know what that was about. But wow. They formed that so quick. Ugh. My next episode is going to be with one of my titis, aunts. I will say that once. Aunt equals titi. I'm saying that once, and if you miss it, that's on you. We're not saying aunts ever again. Anyways, her and I, we created vision boards, which we did in our episode together, which will be next week. Yay, exciting! And wow, I am so happy with how it came out. I'm feeling really hopeful about this year. I'm feeling really hopeful about this podcast. I just hope it reaches as many neighbors as possible. I just want to have a very fabulous and fun year, and a very awakening year. And I think that this year is going to be that way for a whole lot of us. I understand, you know, if you're not big into astrology or quote unquote alternate ways of thinking. However, I do think that the stars, I'm a big believer that everything exists, everything happens for a reason. And I do believe that the stars and the way that the planets are aligned have such an impact on how we operate and how we're going to continue to operate. I also really do love following the Chinese zodiac, and I find it very interesting. Last year was the year of the snake, and you know, I had thought kind of negatively about that when I first heard that, like, oh, interesting, like maybe not so much like a poisonous year, but like a sneaky one, maybe. You know, I didn't really know what to expect. However, when I found out that this year was the year of the horse, 2026 is the year of the horse, the fire horse specifically, we're going to look that up in a bit because I keep hearing that and I don't know what that means. However, this is the year of the fire horse. Last year was the year of the snake. And the snake is all about shedding the skin. It's more so like a rebirth year. And for me personally, I definitely felt that to my core. I mean, I started the neighborhood back in November after thinking about it for months and months, and like a year or two now. And I feel like I underwent so many like micro, no, honestly, like macro transformations throughout last year. And then this year, the year of the horse, is just go, go, go from here. So I find that really, really interesting. And right now, we're going to look up what the fire horse means. I feel like some girl probably explained it on TikTok, and I was like, oh, but it was 2 a.m. So what does the year of the fire horse mean? And no, we are not going to rely on Google AI. Fuck you, Google AI. We're gonna go to sinocultural.com. That sounds about right. This article is written today. Awesome. Good for us. Ah, I see. Okay. So the Chinese zodiac follows a precise 12-year cycle, which most of us will know. I was born year of the dragon. Ha! That is something that I think I learned at like the age of 6. I know I was very young, and I have not let it go since. It is one of my biggest flexes. Like, being born... Okay, first off, being born in 2000, flex. Like, being born in 99 or 2001 feels like you missed out. Sorry. Anyways. So the Chinese zodiac follows a precise 12-year cycle, with each year associated with an animal and one of the five elements. Wood? What the hell? Wood, fire, earth, metal, or water. Oh. That is really interesting. I have never heard of the 5 elements before. Metal? What the hell? So then, I guess there's no air in the Chinese elements. That's interesting. Folks breathing with metal be like... The upcoming 2026 will prominently feature the Fire Horse, commencing on February 17, 2026, with the Chinese New Year, and concluding on February 5th, 2027. Wow. Ooh, I wonder what... Guys, what was your element? What was the element for the year you were born? What kind of dragon am I? Wait, stop. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, actually, guys... I need to look this up real quick. What Chinese element is 2000? Bro! No, you're fucking kidding. Oh my... The metal dragon? Whoa! None of you bitches will ever be me! Wow. As if, like, millions of people weren't born in 2000. Shut the fuck up. ChinaHighlights.com. The neighborhood is going through a very Chinese time right now. What does metal dragon's personality? And then this dragon, is dressed like Bruce Lee. Yes! Whoa. Dude. Wood dragon. Lame. Oh, sorry, that's 2024 babies. Sorry. Okay. Now it's saying gold oh, wait, no. Gold means metal. Whoa! That is crazy. Wait, metal and gold is interchangeable? You bitches will never be me. Natural and straightforward talent and desire to be seen. Me and all my bitches up right now. Wow. Oh my gosh. There's like a little comic. Oh, how cute. He's like in a boxing match with an ape. And the ape is going, "Grr, I'm invincible." And the dragon is going, "You should be careful. You are no match for me." And then KOs him. Tough. We are so up right now. That is crazy. Alright, love that. Back to the Fire Horse. The horse earned its distinguished place in the zodiac through legendary speed and unwavering endurance. Historically, horses were the backbone of ancient Chinese society, indispensable for transportation, agriculture, and military prowess. This crucial role elevated them to powerful cultural symbols representing power, nobility, and ambition. Ah, look at that. The true distinction of 2026 lies in the potent synergy between the horse's intrinsic energy and the fire element. In the profound Chinese 5-element theory, fire is the embodiment of passion and enthusiasm, a fervent drive and zest for life, hot, dynamism and innovation, the spark that ignites novel ideas and propels decisive action, brightness and clarity, illuminating paths forward, fostering optimism and clear vision, and assertiveness in leadership, the courage to lead, inspire, and take initiative. This fire and horse combination significantly amplifies the zodiac sign's natural traits, foretelling a year of heightened activity, rapid progress, and potentially transformative changes. Wow. And you know what, guys? I really believe it. Shifting gears a bit, I had thought that we had already entered the age of Aquarius, which I'll get into in a moment. I thought that started back in November or something, because I had seen so many videos about it. And then when I looked it up to fact check myself, because I knew I wanted to bring it up today, I had seen so many different conflicting views, and apparently it's a very controversial topic. We're getting controversy on the pod. That the age of Aquarius, according to astrologers, either has started already, like been started a while ago, or it's not going to start until the year 3000 and whatever. And what I mean by this is that the Earth's tilts into a different zodiac sign every like 2000 or so years. And so we had been in Pisces for such a long time, according to astrologers. And at some point, we either have or are shifting to the age of Aquarius, which is another great sign for transformation and political changes. These structures that we have been raised to believe are true are dismantling. And I find that very, very interesting. So, because Wikipedia is essentially throwback to a time when we were told, oh, you can't trust Wikipedia, you can't use it as a source. We went from fighting Wikipedia to fighting AI. I trust Wikipedia with my life. Sorry, she has never steered me wrong. Okay? Anyways. So basically, to explain astrological ages, in a much more precise way than I can ever put it, Wikipedia describes it as astrological changes are taken to be associated with the precession of the equinoxes. The slow wobble of the Earth's rotation axis on the celestial sphere is independent of the diurnal rotation of the Earth on its own axis and the annual revolution of the Earth around the Sun. Traditionally, this 25,800-year-long cycle is calibrated for the purposes of determining astrological ages by the perceived location of the Sun in one of the 12 zodiac constellations at the spring equinox, which corresponds to the moment the Sun is perceived as crossing the celestial equator, marking the start of spring in the northern hemisphere each year. Roughly every 2,150 years, the Sun's position at the time of the spring equinox will have moved into a new zodiac constellation. Lovely. Astrologers believe that an astrological age affects humanity, possibly by influencing the rise and fall of civilizations or cultural tendencies. Traditionally, Aquarius is associated with electricity, computers, flight, democracy, freedom, humanitarianism, idealism, modernization, nervous disorders, rebellion, nonconformity, philanthropy, veracity, perseverance, humanity, and irresolution. Whoa. And I really, going into this year, I started to kind of feel that a bit. However, with the way that this year started, with so much unrest, so many crazy 2025 ended and 2026 started with such intense things back to back to back. And by the way, we are only a year into this, I almost said presidency. It has been a long year, and that is an understatement. I know we are all feeling it. Feels as though there is this collective awakening happening. And it feels like the world is really starting to see all of the cracks in its foundation. For the past 10 years, we have been dealing with Donald Trump. That is so freaking scary. Well, actually 11, because they started the campaign trail in 2015. We have been, I mean, New Yorkers have been dealing with Donald Trump for a very long time, but the country and the world has been dealing with Donald Trump for the past 10 years. And within those 10 years, this country has gotten so ugly and divided. And I feel like with this second presidency, where he is implementing all of these ugly, disgusting ideas that he's always had, that he has promised since 2016. This has always been his dastardly freaking plan. And now it's actually happening because he has almost full government takeover. It feels as though more people, and it unfortunately took way too long, it feels like more people are waking up. And it has unfortunately been a very slow opening of the eyes. However, it's just gotten way too hard to ignore. If you are fine with the way that things are right now, then you are not paying attention. And usually, I don't like when people say that. However, you cannot not pay attention to the news right now. And although Trump supporters should have never been Trump supporters in the first place, I do believe that at least recognizing at any point is still progress. You know that something is shifting when people who were die-hard supporters are now seeing the news and going, oh, whoa, like this is too much. And I will never forgive anyone who has ever voted for that man. I will never forgive anyone who has defended that man. However, if you, not that they're watching The Fucking Neighborhood, but if you have ever been in that situation, if you have ever been that person, I really hope that none of these things ever affect you. I hope you remain with your eyes open. Here's a thing that I will never understand is that how can you think that someone who was born into wealth, who was born into complete and total abundance, has never been poor in his entire life, has made his living and his career off of working class and poor people, how can you think that he is doing all of this for you? He has successfully bamboozled half of the United States. It is so disappointing and so shocking, not entirely shocking, because this country has always been racist and classist, and if you disagree, read a book. I feel like this year is going to be a very big awakening year. There are so many shifts happening in the American conscious, and I know it might be hard to see, But I really do feel it. With the amount of people that are waking up and the amount of people who are taking the time to learn and recognize their mistakes. And, unfortunately, it had to happen when this man has already completed this fucking thing, creature, evil, asshole, has already been in the presidency for a year and has invaded in Venezuela and has basically militarized the United States, and while also successfully turning it into a fucking corporation. Unfortunately, it had to take all of that. ICE snatching people off the streets, killing innocent people, killing U.S. citizens, kidnapping people. Unfortunately, it had to take all of that for people to wake up. But this year, and I believe going forward, especially with, and people had been circulating with George Orwell for quite some time now, pretty much since 2016, 1984, and now Animal Farm. Animal Farm has been brought up quite a bit, especially with how the media has been basically also policed. Hey, shout out Vanity Fair. Cuntiest move ever. Shout out Vanity Fair in that incredible article that happened last month where they interviewed people in the White House and made them look like creatures. Made them look like the monsters that they are. And they thought they were eating. Oh my god, they thought they were eating the entire time. They probably thought they were so bad. Thinking like, oh yeah, Vanity Fair is coming to the White House. Let's freaking go. That was beautiful. That was beautiful and brilliant. And you know that things are shifting when major publications like that are taking very bold risks. And even though it is extremely late, it is better late than never to wake up and raise awareness. And now, the most crucial part of it is to fight. Going back to talking about books, though, I cannot stress how important it is to educate yourself. And so much of this unrest obviously comes from ignorance. And I keep seeing this debate online that reading is elitist. What the fuck are we talking about right now? Reading is a fundamental right, and it is something that is so important. And if you allow the elite to have reading, you have completely lost the point. They want you to believe that. They want you to be dumb, essentially ignorant and uneducated. They want you to be overworked. They want you to be tired. They want you to be they want you to believe anything, to be able to believe anything. Libraries are free. Libraries right now, they're dying, quite frankly, because nobody goes. But it is a free resource, and there's so much that you can do in a library. And there's so many libraries have programs that help children learn how to read, that help adults learn how to read. Honestly, reading is not for the elite, and it is something that you absolutely should do. And I feel like with the talk of so many dystopian novels like George Orwell's 1984 and Animal Farm. I feel like so many people are going to be reading this year, and as much as those books are absolutely important and I think that everyone should read them, I am actually going to do a read of them this year. um it is so important to read nonfiction. Guys, if history, I get it, I love history, but if history was your least favorite subject in school, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna hold your hand as I say this. You need to lock the fuck back in. You need to lock into history, bro. Read the people's history of the United States. Read, dude. Okay, if you know how to fucking read, and you have a phone that you doom scroll on TikTok for 6 hours on, buddy, I know I was just talking about Wikipedia. Go down. It is crazy what can happen when you go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. I have learned so much that way. And I mean, obviously, it's always good to fact check with an actual book or another website that is not Wikipedia. But you know what? Fuck it. Go on a Google rabbit hole. Don't rely on AI. Shit is dumb. And it doesn't have to even start with history. Something that I would suggest is, if you've been thinking about a topic like, I wonder why the grass is green, just look it up on Google. Who's going through your Google search? Okay? And if someone happens to look over your shoulder and be like, why'd you look up why grass is green? Be like, well, do you know? Right. Start with that. Go down a rabbit hole with that. Learn from that. And then from then, you will be so surprised at where your curiosity takes you and how much you learn from that. The time that you spent, and this is what they want. This is what the elite loves. They love that you spend 5 hours on TikTok because your job that you've been at for 8 to 12 hours has overworked the shit out of you and you can't think of anything else. And that's the other thing. I've got on this journey. Obviously, I've spoken about it many, many times. I talked about it earlier in this episode. I feel like people are really opening their eyes to how working 8 to 12 hours every day just does not make sense. It is not conducive to your personal health and happiness. And that is the point. When you grow up or as you're growing up and you're watching your parents work and you're just like, oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to go to work for 5 out of the 7 days of the week and work the entire day and only get 2 days to decompress because that's just how it works. And at some point you wake up and you realize, wow, I spend the majority of the year working. I spend the majority of my time doing, and especially if you're working a corporate job like me, doing something that is so meaningless. What? I spend 40 hours a week, 8 hours, 5 days a week, logging onto a laptop, burning my fucking eye. This is why I'm wearing glasses today, guys. This is why, because my eyes, I woke up, boom, bloodshot red and dry as fuck. Because my job, I'm staring at a computer all day, answering emails to the dumbest people on the planet, and doing multiple fucking tasks with Excel sheets and websites and all this crap, and I am burning my eyes, like barely blinking. Also, I mean, part of it is my fault. I really don't get enough sleep. I have to prioritize sleep this year. My eyes felt like shit. And I was like, I can't go to work like this. I cannot wear contacts today, because if I put contacts in my eyes, that is like putting glass shards directly onto my corneas. And so I put on my glasses today, and I feel so good. By the way, my eyes are breathing. However, I mean, like I said, partially it was my fault for not getting enough sleep. However, it's because I am working a job where I'm staring at a computer for 8 hours, 5 days a week. Ugh. And it's so funny because I was just, I've been bringing my iPad to work because I decided to have a digital calendar this year, mostly to save paper. But my manager had remarked on my iPad, and she was like, oh, that's a really cool iPad, by the way. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm doing a digital planner this year. And her eyes just light up. And I know that she is not thinking of that in the same way that I'm thinking. I know that she is not thinking about the sustainability of it, but just like the convenience of it. Like, she is a very work-driven, she loves this job, very work-driven woman, and she's like, oh, let's talk about that in our next catch-up. And I know it's going to be about like productivity tools. I know it's going to be about apps and stuff like that. And it's just completely not where I was going, you know? However, I've always had a paper planner. I like paper planners because they give me a break from the digital landscape that we are living in. Also, it was a very cheap decision for me. I just didn't want to spend money on a planner, sorry. Yeah, you know, but it's another added screen for me. And it's tiring. So much technology, so much things happening, like it's so tiring. The news, obvious. I just went on a whole fucking rampage about the news and the current state of the world. Like, they want you tired. They want you too tired to fight. That is the whole point of all of this. They want you unmotivated. They want you just so exhausted and so unpassionate in anything. And you know, there was even a point after my last episode where I was just like, oh, fucking, well, I mean, it could have been the freaking flu brain fog, but I was just like, oh, fuck it, you know, like, what if I just quit the podcast and just, you know, continued on with my job? No! This is the year of rebellion, and part of that is doing what you fucking want. This podcast, although it is also digital, and I am working off my iPad to edit and, you know, put it online, obviously, for you guys to all watch on your screens. It is something that is creative, something that is exercising my brain. I mean, I went on 2 Wikipedia rabbit holes during this conversation. Well, not so much rabbit holes. I can go deep in the rabbit hole. I can be Alice on that shit. I am exercising my brain. I am exercising my creativity. And I am doing this for my own happiness. I'm doing this for my own good. I'm doing it for my own good. And that is rebellion. We are going to see a lot of that in this year, I think, and a lot of people pushing back against capitalist views and the traditional way, or quote unquote traditional ways of going about life. Because guys, and I I was thinking about this when I was on the line. One of my coworkers was getting salad today, and I was just looking around, and I was like, humans have never done this. All of this sounds like probably so stupid. Like, Maya, why are you complaining about this? Like, the society is just progressing. But there's just something so unhuman about how we are going about life. Humans were never supposed to be in the situation where we are working for the entire day, doing desk jobs, and for like we have no idea even what we're doing. We're just doing it just to do it. Like, I saw a TikTok the other day it was like someone saying how there's a difference between like 90s jobs and 2020s jobs, where it's just like, oh, I'm a carpenter, I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm a lawyer. And 2020's jobs is like, I am a data market analyst. Like, what is that? Oh my god. Robot ass Chandler Bing job. Everyone has a Chandler Bing job. Like, what are we even doing? What are we even talking about? And I know, like, some people are gonna be like, Maya, like, we're just progressing as a society. Like, we're just becoming a modern society, whatever. What does anything that we're doing have to do with the progression of society? Maybe I'm just not looking too deep enough. Maybe I'm just like thinking way too much into it. But everything feels so dystopian right now, and I really am grateful to live in a first world, supposedly first world country, and have the privileges that I have. I am so grateful for the life that I have. And I'm grateful to even be able to say the things that I'm saying right now. Which, who knows? Who knows if this will get taken down or not? But something just feels so wrong and so dystopian and so silly. And hey, maybe it's me because like it feels like I'm in between like a Monica and Chandler job. But it just does not feel human. And hey, if you are a market analyst, sales, fucking representative, whatever the hell, and you are happy with that, please be happy. Do not let me ruin your fun. But have you thought of why you want to do that? What are you doing? From the clothes that we wear, from the things that we consume, from the way that we just so blindly go about life. I really don't mean to be a downer in our first episode back. But all in all, and I know I went down so many tangents, all in all, I do feel like there is this collective awakening, because I've been seeing so many videos on this, and this really could just be my side of TikTok and my side of Instagram and everything, but I feel like I've been seeing so much of people just opening their eyes, no matter where they were on the political spectrum before recent events, and people really starting to realize, like, life is getting very Orwellian. Very. Did Suzanne Collins realize what she would, like, did she do Hunger Games on purpose? Has anyone ever asked her that? Does she do interviews? What does she look like? Did she realize what the fuck she was doing with the Hunger Games? She's a goddamn oracle. Oh my god, gorgeous. Ugh. Diva. Oh my god. The Hunger Games is so incredible, and I am just so grateful that that was my hyperfixation book. I could not get into Harry Potter. I was a huge Greek mythology kid, very deep in the trenches in that, but could not get into Percy Jackson. Hunger Games, shit. Man, that's why I'm going on this freaking tangent. That's why everything feels so dystopian right now. Yeah, I feel like a lot of things are changing. And I really do. I have hope that this year brings regulations, or at least shifting ideas about AI in the opposite direction of where they were heading in 2025. 2025 was like AI boom. Like truly everywhere. Everyone was using it. I think now it's starting to become like embarrassing. I think it's becoming kind of like chuggy and annoying if you use AI because it looks cheap. Like if you're a business that's using that for your advertisements, it's cheap. That means you're broke. That means you're broke as fuck if you're not getting like an actual photographer, if you're not getting an actual like animator, whatever, illustrator, graphic designer. AI is so cheap and so fuggo, and I feel like we're gonna see a lot more people shaming AI, and this is going to be a creativity revolution. That's a big conversation that I've been seeing, is just like creativity and humanity, empathy and passion over everything. And I'm very, very excited about that. And if you haven't been seeing it, how about you implement it? That's a thing also, is that, like people are very quick to point out the things that are like wrong, but they don't think of like why don't I just do this then? It's kind of like that whole phenomena of like Gen Z being like, oh my god, when are we gonna bring, or just like younger people being like, when are we gonna bring like go-go boots back? When are we gonna bring side parts back? When are we gonna, just do it? Just fucking do it. This is going to be the year of just do it. Take it away from freaking Nike, Jordan, whatever. Take it away, shoe, bling. Just do it. Do the thing that makes you happy. Wear the things that make you happy, because that is such a revolution in itself. As long as you're not hurting anyone or using AI to do so. It's a lot, but I have faith that if we collectively decide to just say fuck it and do the things that the elite does not want us to do, and that is live our lives, be happy, be creative, and obviously, speak up. Use your platform, use your privilege, protest. I will always, always, always be a proponent of doing so. And I don't know why or how that is like a dangerous thing to say, because, hey, that's our First Amendment, right? The fuck? Protest, speak up, and always stay educated. Guys, read. Read. I'm begging you. Oh my god. And be nice. Be kind, because that is so important. The reason why that side is so big is because they are united by hate. And hate is such a fragile, silly emotion. Love and kindness and empathy are so much stronger, and they're so much more long-lasting, and it's healthy. That is exactly what we need right now, and that is exactly how we will combat it. And I'm just yapping into a freaking mic in front of an iPad, in front of a ring light. What do I know? But I hope this resonates with somebody at least. My biggest hopes for this year: peace for myself, for this country, for the people around me, for the world. I know it sounds so corny.
I want world peace. It's my biggest wish, world peace.
It is so much easier said than done. But it's, fuck you. This is what I want. I want peace. I want health and happiness, and for everyone to be on the pursuit of happiness. I want revolution. I want change. And I know this is likely what you want as well as my neighbor. I'm probably saying the obvious. But in case you have been bogged down by the news and bogged down by the struggles of everyday life, you're not alone. And I know that you're not alone. But it doesn't hurt to hear that. Life cannot continue being this way. Our futures are in our hands. It really is up to us. And it has to be a collective change. If we sit and we wallow and we complain, nothing gets done. I feel like I'm starting to sound like a broken record. So I'm going to go ahead and add this little thing. So basically, while I was kind of on hiatus over the past couple weeks, I decided to create a thoughts note, and just like whenever I thought of something, because here's the thing, is like I will think of something so funny and then I'll forget it like the next day, and I'm like, fuck, no, that was so funny. That was a thought that I was ruminating on for like 2 hours. I should have written it down. What's wrong with me? So I decided to just go ahead and write things down, and I'm just gonna pick a random one and see. I want to be Quan Millz so bad. Holy shit. I want to be Quan Millz. He pops up every single day for me. Talk about a man who is doing something so creative that he just wants to do. And that man has been writing novels, by the way, since I was in high school. Thank God he has TikTok. I want to be Quan Millz so bad. Read a Quan Millz book this year. Read George Orwell. Read a history book. That's your homework for this year. I think you can do it. That's like 3 books that you can space out. Oh, also, read a self-help book. I don't really like the term self-help book, but I mean, there really is no other way to say it or explain it. Like, you're helping yourself, But, and I believe me and my titi talk about this in the next episode, but there truly is nothing wrong with picking up a self-help book. I know that they have a bit of a negative connotation because it's like, well, there's nothing wrong with me, but they truly, you never really know what's normal, or I don't want to say what's normal and what's not, or what's wrong with you, because then I know some people are going to be like, well, you're fishing for things to be wrong with you, but you never really realize like that the way you go about things or way you think of things, how damaging some of that can be until you pick up a self-help book and you're like, wow, I do that, and I wonder why. Again, it just goes down to educating yourself and just being curious. Guys, be curious. Let's be curiouser and curiouser this year, yes. Let's think about things, and let's wonder why. Self-help books are so cool. I have A whole bunch of them. I'm not talking about the however laws of power, or I think it's like 28 shits of seduction. I have both of them. I I had started on power and I was like, I felt my testosterone. I felt like testosterone was creeping into my body, and I hated that feeling. Loki felt so insidious and evil, and then I thought about all the men who read that book and recommend that book, and listen, they talk about really great topics in that book, and I do believe it all comes down to confidence and assertion. That's all it comes down to. That's what it is to be powerful. It's not about like manipulate like that book low-key supports, like, not supports, but kind of amps up manipulation and masks it as like, no, it doesn't even mask it at all. I think it just straight up is like, yeah, no, it's okay. Bizarre. I mean, in a way, yeah. Like, a lot of people do become powerful through the powers of manipulation. Hey, the fucking president. Read books about your subconscious mind. Read books about spirituality. Really, really challenge yourself this year. And I have always been a very big fiction, fantasy, horror book reader. And I do believe, like, everyone needs a balance of everything. I'm a big believer in balance of everything. If you're reading a nonfiction book, read a fiction one, because apparently studies have shown that fiction increases empathy and stepping into another person's shoes, which I found very interesting. I never really thought of it that way. I liked reading that because, you know, I feel like it's, for a lot of people that really can't get into fiction and they only read nonfiction, which is totally fine, but I do feel like some people kind of turn it into a personality thing, like, yeah, I just can't get into fiction. It's just not real enough for me. I prefer history and science. Like, okay, dude, like, we don't need any of that. Read both. Because it's not a flex either way. Like, I only read A Court of Thorns and Roses. Bro. I feel like I'm throwing a lot of suggestions out at you. But I do believe that we should be challenging ourselves more. And if you work a very intense job, or you're a student, I completely get it. I completely get that reserving time to read a book is a lot. It is. But starting small is always the best approach. And starting off with something that you really like. Pick up a recommendation from a friend that you trust, or a TikToker that you trust. Book talk is huge. Start off with something like that. Get really into a book. And it's something that I want to work on is, and I feel like I have kind of gotten into this mindset, where if it doesn't captivate you in the first couple of pages, like, it is totally fine to put it down after a couple chapters, but give it a chance. And then find something that excites you, and then challenge yourself to a book from a genre that you wouldn't typically read, like nonfiction or fiction, and challenge yourself to finish that book and truly, truly, truly comprehend it. Like, what was the meaning? A good fiction book that I would recommend is The Midnight Library. If you have ever heard of Sylvia Plath's metaphor of the fig tree, where essentially this woman is looking up at a fig tree, and each fig represents all of the futures that she could have, being a mother, being a writer, being, whatever. And she doesn't know which fig to pick, but the longer she waits, the more the figs fall and rot away, and basically she's, you know, she's like left with nothing. It's all of these futures that could have been, but she waits too long and now it's too late. Essentially, the Midnight Library is like that, but not as depressing. Not as doomer as Sylvia Plath. It's written by Matt Haig. I see it right there on my little library. And I think that it is a fabulous book. It is very digestible, very easy to get into, with such an awesome message. A little slow at the start, but I finished that book on the subway, and bitch, I was crying. It is so embarrassing to cry on the subway, but like, whatever. Never seen those hoes ever again. And then a good nonfiction book. Oh, a book that I am reading right now that has suddenly disappeared from my field of vision is The Body Keeps the Score. And I feel like I've been saying I feel like this entire fucking episode, maybe do a counter. I feel as though a lot of people might have seen this book in a lot of conversations and in libraries, maybe even their school library. And for me, it's always been that book, because I think my mom has it here. It's always been a book that I have seen and always wondered about, but truly, and I'm only into like the first part, but it essentially talks about how trauma is stored in the body, in the brain, how like our body processes trauma, and you know, you might not even realize it, but certain reactions that you have to certain situations, they all go back to at some point when you first had something like that happen to you. And I mean, it seems very obvious and self-explanatory, but yeah, it's so much more than that. I'm excited to finish it. I'm excited to see where my trauma is stored. All over. I want a massage so bad. I was in Chinatown yesterday and I saw like $30 for a 30-minute massage. Ooh. Yeah. That might be happening. So you know what? The Body Keeps the Score. Let's process our traumas. Let's talk about it, dude. Shit. And the Midnight Library. This was a lot heavier of a first episode than I anticipated. But I am feeling very, very hopeful. I'm feeling very excited and fired up for this year. Last year we were a scaly. This year we're a horse girl. And I think that that is a promotion. All in all, be rebellious, be empathetic, be smart. Read a Quan Millz book. Be kind. That's the hallmarks of being a good neighbor. Be funny. Holy shit. Guys, we need to laugh. Wow. I think this is going to be also a very funny year. I hope so. We need that. Yeah, this lip gloss was very, very dark. I'm looking at a mirror across the way right now. I probably have poopy butthole lips by now. Smudgy, grubby glasses, and Gucci Louis Prada eye bags because I just had work today and I'm so exhausted and probably greasy as well. So audio listeners, consider yourself lucky. Folks watching on YouTube, just shut it off. I love you guys. And if no one has told you that today, you just heard it right now. And I am so, so proud of you. You are extremely, extremely bright. Smarter and stronger than you know. And I'm so excited to see everything that you accomplished this year. Welcome back to the neighborhood. Thank you so much. I love, love, love you. And I will see you next week. Once again, back in the neighborhood. Love you. Bye.
Thank you for watching yet another episode of Amaya's Neighborhood. If you liked what you saw today, please go ahead and follow me at the links above, please. It was so nice to see you once again, and I will see you again next week. Welcome to 2026. Bye.
Okay.
We're rolling, I hope.
Starring, fuck. I was not able to film for 2 weeks because of the. There's freaking lint on the
Goddamn mic.
this crucial wall. Elevate. Ooh. Leapfrog. Bro. Everything should always. Why do you laugh? I was gonna do some magic there.